So in this session, we are going to look at marketing. So we need to first see what a market is. A market. Many people say a market is a place where we buy goods or services. So we buy and sell. That place we buy and sell is a market. Someone was saying it is being in the open than when you expose what you have. So you are in a market. So you need to be in an open place. That's a market. And you need to expose what you have. However, we say a market is here, our conclusion here, a market is a total of all the people who have a need for your product or service. Okay.
There's a lady on TikTok. She sells skincare products from US now. She's a Ugandan. Naye atunda products all over the world. You make an order, she ships it to you. So when you say there, the people that
Yes.
need is her market.
Yeah.
China
Provided you have people who have a need for your product or services, then there is a market. That means that one can have a place without a market. Without a market. You're welcome, hey, Teacher Sarah. So now, this tells us that a market has life. So it can live or die. You can have a market which lives, or otherwise, the market can also die. The market has legs. It can come, stay, or leave. Yes, you could have a market and the market leaves you. So these are people we are talking about here, not a place. You can
have children later.
The market goes away.
In just a minute.
And then one of the yes, everyone was buying Nokia. Today, the market is there, but it's not for them.
It's no longer.
The market moved.
The market moved to Samsung and iPhone, but very few people.
Hey, so uh, I think one day my friend was telling me about a school where the head teacher, I think the director told the parents that this school is not, it's not my main business. It's not my main business. Actually, I'm even studying law. So a school is just one of my things. And the parents said, "Oh, it is just a mere thing for you." They started with doing children. Hmm.
the daughters tried to start to manage it kiremye kiri. They say arrogance ya mama.
By the way.
Uh-huh.
Just and where is she practicing her law? By the way, lawyer alisomera ku Nkumba. Doctor, was that lady from Nkumba?
I don't know really.
Nino si Kyambogo alika wa Makerere.
Looking for me.
So he said, I didn't call you. Your parents came looking for me, so I don't need you.
That's what Kitende said. Abana ne batandika okwesala kati abanoonya bululu. Said mwebali nese olaba nze wenayingizaayo omwana wa S1 bali streams 10 ng'ate buli stream erimu abana 13.
So you can
right
see.
now is in S3 bali streams 8 with 80 streams.
So let me tell you, there is no number which is not manageable, provided the people can pay the cost. You can always be able to accommodate them.
Olabye kati azimbye ebizimbe domu zonna yazikyusa. Oba ogamba investment children, why do you say that? Why
Rajiv Rupareli.
Yes.
They mentioned the businesses he has been managing as one person. You couldn't believe somebody is like that. And he's very successful in every business. The dead one. Because he was the actual operator. The father is the CEO, is the owner. But the boy was the one managing.
The managing director.
At home, just at home, he had 30 workers. The one who sweeps, the one who washes dishes, the one who takes care of the dogs, 30. But manages them. Just as you have said, as long as the cost is there.
used to work with him. But the only whatever I used to tell them, don't play with my money. In everything you do, don't play with my money.
So the market can accept or reject your services or product. When the market accepts, maintaining this acceptance is very key. And when the market rejects, also checking why they are rejecting the product or services is very key. So one can have all items according to what we see the meaning of marketing or of a market. You can have all the items, all the services, all the land, all the buildings, but without a market. The people can end up saying, that was a school. Now yet the buildings are there. So without a market, an organization is bound to fail. Even amidst large possessions and the bountiful finances, you have a lot of money. Without the market. So without a market, the organization is bound to fail.
Osobola okukola essomero nga lirina buli kakica yenna full setup. I don't know whether you know Jovens. When you go there, it has a right picture of a school. It has everything the school should have from the start. But they don't have the market.
And what causes that?
In managing.
Because that school, it was once a good school, once a powerful school. When
it has
Jesse
always
was
been
there.
powerful in structures, but not in the market. Yes.
But you used to do, but at least we were younger.
It was just starting by that time.
But it had children. The numbers have. Side this entebe side you will hear jogging. Now it's hard to hear it.
It is management of the market.
They started the same, almost the same year with Maryland High School. Maryland now has 3 campuses. Each campus with a minimum of 2,000 students. Now, the very one, and this one was more expensive than Maryland, because Maryland was charging 400, charging 250. This one was charging 400,000.
Is it also Christian based?
They are all SDA schools.
Yes.
So now the problem, the issue is with management.
So here you will see that by having land or all these possessions and having finances does not guarantee that you have a market. Therefore, managing the market is very key. This way we say that the growth of a business widely depends on the number of customers, partners, and collaborations it has. The customers drop, the business shuts. You don't have partners, you don't have collaborations, the business is at risk. Now, expanding the market here. You need to grow the market and expand it. We look at these 4 main aspects here, but I've made them here 6. The 6th ones depend on the 5th and 6th depends on the other 4. One is attract the market. There must be jobs, work to do in attracting the market. Where for schools, the market we are talking about, these are the customer is what? Is the learner. Schools, the customer is the learner. The funder are the guardians and the parents. In some schools, the funders can be also organizations or NGOs. So this means that you need to search for learners. You need to search for learners, search for parents, search for them so that you receive new what? The new customers. Enrollment has got to increase in schools. Then when you attract, you've got to retain the market. Attracting is one thing and retaining is another. You see how the taxi people work. Everyone who is outside is a brother, a sister. When when you're outside, your uncle, brother, sister. But when you enter, so they are good at attracting. They run out, they go across the road to get you. Help you to cross. But when you enter, getting out the luggage, you have got to request. You have got to request, please help me to carry. Now, the retention is when now what you've attracted, you want to see that it is retained. The customer who is attracted is being retained. Ensure that each person entering your business doors gets satisfied to stay and keep in touch with such a person.
That is the most difficult thing now.
Yeah.
Because these customers we have are not static in mind and how they view things. And again, we have competitors outside there who keep working things different from the way we do. So which means we have to every day watch the space as we watch what we are doing.
Mm.
It's a very terrible time. Why you cannot say what made you excel 5 years ago works now.
Mm.
By that time you were alone in the field. Now there are 5 competitors. They have even brought a swimming pool. You are still here.
Mm.
Yes, you have attracted the market. Now these people you've got, they are not willing to pay. Yes, you need them, but they are not good at paying. People outside there see you until you never know. Then when it comes to finance, you're strained.
Mm. What businesses do is to make sure whenever you have attracted the customer, some customers will have not like someone going to the boutique without and entering there without regulations. In formal institutions, they are sieves, predetermined sieves, where you clarify your service. This is the service we are going to offer. The service. These are the terms of payment. So the customer should know when do you demand, and then when do you take actions which are sending the child home. Those expectations should be clear to the client. I have delayed to pay, but because you're sensitive of retaining the market, then you will not by emotion send my child home, so that you also feel, so that the parent also feels how it pains not to pay. Yes. But the handling there, you either retain the child or you miss the child. The person can withdraw the child from the school because has not been able to pay fees. But we say, if I get money, I will take my child back to that school. What failed me was fees, not relationship.
But the problem, some of them, eh? Wamala okutwala omwana nsomero lubaleme start talking ill of the school. That is a problem.
Of course, because they are in defensive mode. They will ask him always, why did you take away? And they can't say, I was the problem. So
Then he might
they
say the
allocate
school,
blame to you.
So some clients will leave. We said some clients will leave. In businesses, clients come and go. But the rate at which you lose clients also tells you how you're managing them.
What about on the side of the staff?
That is now also staff turnover. It is also not good. Of course, when you keep changing staff, even parents can change along. Even some schools which have dissociated their staff from parents, they are schools where the parent will never associate with a,
like
a teacher.
Victoria's.
Yeah,
Those big schools, by the way.
you don't know
They
who is teaching your
associate.
child unless the child tells you the name, and you will not meet the parent, that teacher.
But is it good?
Yeah, it is,
It
because
has advantages and disadvantages. But
what they do is to make sure that the services there are done
as part.
as pub. They collect information from that class and present it to the parent. So what do you need from the teacher?
But excuse me, I am aware that there are some parents who bring children because of a certain teacher.
Now,
And if that teacher goes away, they are most likely also to follow.
and that is very dangerous in companies.
Mm.
But what can you
So
do to disassociate the teachers from children?
that is a system the school chooses,
Because now
where
there is a system where some schools tell the teachers that every
student or learner you bring, you have a what? You have a commission.
Mm.
Supposing someone has brought in around 50,
And that person will even want to
go with them.
no, the oyo omuntu naye aba muzibu. She might want to ride you because she knows you are on her mercy because naleta kumi.
In those schools,
Most primary private schools, they have that system.
in some of these schools, some schools choose system because schools institutions set up systems. So you'll find that in this school where the parent does not interface with the teacher, they market the school independent of the staff. So a person brings a child to the school, not to the teacher.
Following performance.
Yes.
I give an example of the Same Education Center. I was a parent there for 7 years. My boy went there the whole year. We never had any school meeting, parent meeting. No speech, yes, no speech day in the 7 years. By the 7 years, I had only one. My boy did only one sports day activity. You are not allowed to interact with the teacher. When I'm a teacher, if they know that you have interacted with the teacher will even tell you, please make sure toilet. They shouldn't know. But you know, people are attracted there because of the performance. Only
Just the performance.
performance.
And then
We
that's
find
what
ourselves lining there. But
Those
Kokalisha,
registers have that part
performance.
where the parents' contacts are collected.
in schools which don't have it as a system, they don't put those
We
contacts
don't.
there.
We have them in the office. On the computer.
I used to display them. I used to
No.
display them in class.
You're all calling the register. Why should you put the numbers there?
It is the registers.
For us, we don't put. We just.
You people, me, I used to put them in the class. I used to display. Chanded the teachers were
You're
asking
joking.
money. Your child is not weak. Your child is weak. People were interacting with parents. I was until I removed it. Parents would come back to me. How comes ABCD is calling me about ABCD? So I also withdrew those contacts. So parents, teachers and parents is not so not.
The thing is, get your registers, let them put their names, but parents' contacts not there.
Why do parents want to interact with teachers? Because they want service. They want to be assured
That their children are getting.
their children are getting the services.
But I think it is only that sometimes people misuse that system.
Yeah, they
What you
misuse it.
do,
It's very okay.
usually, abazadde abatu, they come, they ask the administration
Mm.
that I want this teacher's number. You ask why. My child left a sweater at home, at school, and I'm not seeing it. Or I want to talk to the teacher because I want to explain ABCD.
Mm.
But the office is strictly supposed to have the information
Mm.
for each child.
Yes.
Let me tell you, but we're talking about somebody in the private sector. As a government, that is what we are supposed to do. That's why those documents are there. With the required what? What we are required to have in our registers, for example. Even getting in touch with the teachers, it is in order.
It is in, we don't have any problem with it. Even private, we don't have any problem with it. But the problem comes when the teacher overdoes it.
They need guidance. The teachers need to be guided.
Because one time I had a teacher, she was in top class. The moment she left with almost 10 parents. That's why we sometimes reduce their communication with the parents.
One of the schools, one teacher sent a message to all of the parents that he knew.
Mm.
The school is closing this term.
They are there and they are doing it. I have even a friend.
And they are not going to tell you.
They have some issues that I understand, like 3 million got lost the teacher took off. Now other 3 teachers plus the some who is the class teacher to my child were arrested first. Now this time the class teacher is not coming back and she has communicated to me, I'm not coming back. If they are ready to take him away, know that I'm not coming back. And he's saying
That
even
is the
more private
problem.
teachers are going away.
That
And
is
then
the
that
problem.
information is going through all the parents.
I had even a friend
So
last
she's
time
to
it
decide,
happened.
I remove the child.
Doctor, I also have an experience. These were semi-candidates, expecting them to be able to the next year, the following year. But what the teacher did in primary 6, this teacher sold some of our semi-candidates to a private school using the what? The contacts. So these people in the private schools were contacting the parents of our semi-candidates that they should join their school the following year. So
That's why you should
generally,
be very, very
our
careful
services have said, but
as
you
a
have to
private
know.
school.
That has a very
Wanji?
complicated
My dear.
I
I
even
look for
today.
parents. Actually, my teachers don't usually do the marketing. I get a team, they go for marketing, not the teachers. Hmm? Now, if I bring and again you take, I won't feel out. You have to set a system, you as a school, that everything is handled in the office. Everything. For me, even if it is a boarding child coming to you, call a parent, and a parent calls me, I'll call you. Are you responsible for the boarding section? Like one of our teachers, but teacher, give me, I want to call my mom. Are you responsible for boarding section? You should give me an answer. Because I have a department specifically and the phone numbers which are supposed to go to parents.
Yes.
That this one teacher, Charles, is having a school phone which calls parents. And if a parent calls me that somebody called me from your school, I'll ask her, bring that number.
So,
And I'll call you. Because we have specifically a system which is running. If it's boarding, it is a school phone we're supposed to call. If it's school fees, it is the office.
that is it. So, retention is a very big job. Just recently, uh, there is a teacher we had issues with one of the schools where I offer consultant services, where the teacher would spread information about the school to the parents. How the administration is not good. So so I advise that don't let them retire the teacher, but not at the end of the what? Of the term.
It's supposed to be
Of
at the
the
end of
term.
the term.
I wanted at the beginning of the term. Of the term. Uh-huh. At the beginning of the term.
Me, I had never had very many experiences. I had even a driver. He could get the children in school van, and we usually ask them that give them the numbers in case they are late. You just call, don't hoot. But what he did, he started sending messages to parents. Thank you for paying the school fees. In case you need any driving place, a driver at your home, I'm available. The good thing, my parents understand me very well, and I have
Yes.
the relationship. So one of the parents sent me this. He said, Teacher Penina, you look at this message. He sent. You remember he did not send to only one what? Parent. Now remember, you see, this driver is going to spoil your school. Work on it. So what I did, I called him. Namugamba osindika messages online. Who are you? Who are you to send a message? Can you send that message and remove to every parent that you're sorry? Yali amanyi simanyi. And we did that. Next term, Samuza. Tamanyi kintu kyange gye nkitoka. tuleke namu nsukise mu ttanuulu ng'okizannyirako.
So you see, now then after that retention, the job to retain client is that's where the development can be. Then grow customers. Growing customers is, yes, it's important to retain, but growing customers is to ensure that these customers who join your institutions realize that there is a value, we call it value proportion. There is a balance between value for services and the cost they pay. That's why we say every customer is comparative. You buy a dress at 500,000 shillings, you go to the next shop and find the same dress, you want to ask how much it is to compare and see whether, yes.
You first move.
So
Yes,
that
the what you do, you first move around, not buy it from one shop. Hey, for me, if I want something, I could go to 5 shops. What was it?
Sometimes you don't when you're trying to buy.
When I'm going to buy something, I have time.
So there must be a balance between value received and cost paid. That's why when some clients realize that there is value, they will even be very willing to pay the cost. Otherwise, when they see that the value is not being received, they'll be reluctant to pay the cost. So most institutions are working are working tirelessly to make sure that they increase value proportionality to the extent that the client sees that if he does not go for that value, then there is nowhere else to get it. Yes. Actually, the customer develops a custom to buy and is blinded of elsewhere. That to the extent that even when you increase the cost, the client continues. Yes.
Usually, when like, I think it's better on that point to, for example, if you have a school, it is better to get the hearts of the children. Why? Because usually, even if the parent is going to change the child, man and I'm gonna, mommy, no, I still need my school. Please take me back.
Yes.
Eh? That parent will not change that child.
There is a child who has changed. This teacher who I was talking about, when she left before the time we expected her to leave. So she went and saturated the message, the school is bad, and parents had trust in her because she was even a resident teacher. So they withdrew children. The enrollment dropped up to below 50. Yes, below 50%. And thus this uh, when some of the children were taken to other schools, they reached there week 1, week 2, they said that the school is boring, we want to go back to our school. They returned some of them.
That's what they do.
We want to go back to our school.
Eh? Just make them close to you. I'm telling you.
Mm. Mhm. That-
Ate ekizibu kyali kikyo. Baba tebalina mmere.
So
father is like, onsibako omusomero ogwo. But the mother always brings the children and the children are like, penye twagala.
So here we look at another element called expanding the market. So expanding the market requires you to widen the product.
Improve the performance.
You add on some of what you didn't have. Now you have. Because the market wants to see incremental changes, improvements. The hairstyle I was dressing last week, if I find you still having the very thing, I may not buy. What have you improved on it? The pencil of 2001 may not be the pencil of today. Maybe they have improved something on it. So
Parents want improvement. Whenever they
Mhm.
come for a new term, what something new have you put there? What has improved on your school?
What has improved?
Even at the end of the year, at least, yes, to start a new year, there must be some change.
Yeah.
You ask them for
You have
improvement
done
fees every
facelifting,
term.
you have done renovations, you know.
Ate nga waliwo first
So
year.
Ziriwa, but you have to look for it. It is your own thing.
There is no school which doesn't charge for development fees.
Okujjako nze.
Mm.
Teriyo essomero lyasaba
Okujjako
lwaki lyaziteekamu fees
okujjako omupya gwe nsaba development fee.
Okay. So expanding the market is very key. You need to have a boarding section. Now you're adding it there. So you're adding that enrollment. You didn't have another class, you are adding it there.
Every
Mm-hmm.
even if it is every time, never sanga ng'okozeko veranda.
It impresses them. Then another is to broaden the brand equity.
By the way, before we go further, what fails the school to at least do one of the things in the school, to do someone improvement? Tekiriyo ekyo naye ziba ng'ofunye emitwalo 2 zina kisobola okukola ku ground eyo byekwaso essomero lyonna musase buyongo a school having over 100 children naye babasasula mutwalo gumu. You have failed to do anything.
Yeah.
Is that healthy? Sooka omukube ng'okoze.
So now my advice to you, teacher Betty, you just look at your home. If you decided one day and said, let me buy matoke 2 bunches, and then the money is exhausted and there is no salt, can you fail to get the salt? If you prioritize and do something, if the problem comes when you set something to be done last after all other things are done, then I will do this. Do it fast and then struggle.
If
Yes.
you do it fast, you'll struggle and I'll tell you you'll get somewhere.
Yes.
The good thing Ben has experience of UPE schools. You know how they struggle.
But they still develop.
Yes.
Still.
Kati mmanya nti profit gwe wandifunye mu ssomero ye development gy'okola kati.
Bino emyaka egisooka ogenda kwerumya.
Yabeeranga profit wo nti bwe nkola olubalaza kati ye mbalanga profit nti school fees njazizzaawo. Era bwennya bugenda mu bibiina bba mu ebyo byakwekira.
Broaden what we call brand equity. Broaden the brand equity. What we call a brand, you will ask why I have put here this name. Yet I would have left this space to be white. Purely white. It is not obvious. but you may see it and don't give it attention, but it has written itself in your mind. The other day you find it somewhere. I think I've ever seen this. It will become very easy for you to enter there and have some services because you have the brand name or the brand color or the brand sound is there with you. So a brand equity is very key. That's why you'll find some schools have put we call it a teardrop. Somewhere there is a teardrop. The teardrop is that thing that is they anchor into the ground. The little cloth is swinging. It's a teardrop, and it is there. Somebody looks at it. Is this school, what is that? Continues. The next time he looks at it another time. By the time you speak that we are here, the person has already bought your what? Your brand. Because I've ever seen you. There are some people who come here because they have seen a van
Yes, very many.
with the name of the school. That without you could have a van without that name.
What?
Yes, it serves the purpose. So in branding is we see that make your brand visible. Hmm? Let it be visible. Let it sound out. Uh, Even the shape. If you have maintained the color of the what of the badge, that all the school color, all the attires are in that color. Yes,
Everything has to be in that color, branded as you want it for
yes.
the school.
The shapes have got to be maintained. The fonts, some others they visualize and they have what we call motion of animation motion, like how the word comes, how any TV word displays on the screen is not the same way look at the word comes on the screen. How it displays, they standardize those ones. The slogan, which you call the motto, has got to be sounding out. What are you promising the community? The brand promise. The true reward from the source. You've heard of that sound everywhere you go.
Nze nali sirabangako sentantone bukyanga mbeera kuno. I've never seen sentantone egenda mu market okunona abaana. Bukyanga mbeera kuno kawuku. But trust me, this time round it went to the market. They started looking for kids. Twabasangeyo bwerenga mu Jomaayi. Hey.
And whichever comes up, kabeerako n'ekintu ekiri ekikatandika nako.
Kakati gwo omutwe gulina okuba nga
olina okuba buli kaseera nga yo improving by'okola. If the performance is not
true. Asimba bw'ati bwe afunayo omuzadde ogwo n'atandika omusombera.
Omusomesa yenyini ateeka muli nani nekubako zibo benyini
whichever business olina okulaba nti you perform and there is something unique.
And everything that comes, you have to make sure that everything that comes out of your school does not have a mistake. Even if it's homework, even if it's children's books,
Because it is your brand.
It is your brand. It is not easy to maintain, but you will.
But you must have
Nobody is perfect. You cannot be perfect.
Of course, we are not perfect, but try. Try.
But it is
something out.
it is not easy to be members. members. Yeah. Betty, it is not easy to eat food every day. Hmm? To have food to eat every day. But do you go hungry? Do you go for a week without eating?
No, it's a must.
Yes, because now you know it.
You don't know how many years remaining on earth, but you are sure you.
Members, what she's talking about of errors is that is a very key thing. You make errors, person looks at it, you do it again, you lose the meaning. Your brand gets affected. They start taking you for granted. That's why when there is anything going to be published to the public, yeah.
But there is a team specifically.
There is a team that scrutinizes to see that what is going in the public is of quality. It is meeting the standards of the what? Of the school. You should have standards. So here, in brand equity, you make sure that your name sounds out. Let people know it and let them know that there is value when they see that name. Today, I would doubt whether MTN would advertise. Why should it be? But it's expenditure. Yes, they the highest taxpayers even.
Yes, they are the highest taxpayers. They pay in millions.
They pay trillions.
Trillions in taxes. Imagine someone paying in trillions a year in taxes. Just what is their earning?
Yes. So you have to keep your name sounding out and outstanding.
Even when you go to
For
the
me,
village, you'll find at least a bicycle having MTN.
yes.
MTN
You see, this is a business card pack. Huh? You see how it this. So when I'm with some people and I'm talking about business, I pull out this and pull out a what? A business card. And so here is the business card. You see where it is coming from? It is an explanation that this is a serious from a business pack, and you're pulling it out of something the person is even not understanding. Not from the pocket.
And you start looking in the back.
And if it is a letter, you put it in a what? An envelope that is it? Branded. So it is branded, and then someone says, this is someone.
Do it at first, but as you go on, try to improve. As you go on, try to improve.
One thing at a time. That even prompted me to pull out my identity card.
But you only know, we would all love to do all that. Like finances, resources.
And that's what we're saying.
Single to quarter.
Do one thing at a time.
Negati olaba buno bugundi buno business card. Bayinza okusaba emitwalo ng'ebiri oba esatu okubukola nga we buli bungi. Kano akantu tekamalawo mitwalo 10. Kati obuzibu bujjira even when you don't do this, you still spend that money.
Yeah.
In one way or the other. Is to want to do everything at once.
Yes.
naye ekizibu kyennyina kyensi kyenatuuseeki nasokedde ddala bagamba I don't know whether this affected all schools this term kozero suggesting alanga where parents failed to pay prompt
not alone.
mu holiday.
We have all gone through that.
Oyinza okulowooza oli wekka
So members,
ojjayo akatono
So
kogenda
sooka
okukola
oyogere ku
tojjayo
risk
kanene.
taking. Madam Betty ayagala kumanya ku risk taking. Ye ayagala nga sure ogenda
You
kufuna
cannot be sure. Oyina ku risiki nga totwala nnene, otwala specifically ekyo kyogenda okukola.
Mikwano section eddako
So-
lisubiddwa nnyo nnyo nnyo.
Ate olazeewa
Waliwo ente evudde mu kinnya.
agenze gijjayo.
Waliwo ente evudde mu kinnya ate batono bange.
so now lastly here,
So I shouldn't be missing this, but it's inevitable.
create convenience. Convenience is very key. Make everything easy to access physically and electronically. Hmm? Physically and electronically. When people get burdened, everything, making payment, come at the office. Come at the office. Let people pay wherever they are.
This time they are disturbing
The school pay.
C students.
I used to get very many parents
They
here.
are stopping them to pay in DFCs.
Oba
So
okyali
they
mu
use
kirasi bakuyita
CCH now.
payment.
But it is a serious problem.
Tosobola
Where
kugamba nti
bank managers
baasa
aba university,
bwe-
they don't mind about these hassles people are talking about. They continue to send another document. You pay this
bwe
way.
baasa bwe driver
They don't care.
teacher kati oba oli mu kirasi ye lw'onoosasula omusaala ovaano saawa nnya. Paying by cash ate ono bagamba nga tukola